Alright, picking up on chapter 7 of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. Once again, I hope you enjoy the narration brought to you by yours truly. I'm sorry I'm a terrible reader, but I do hope you find some enjoyment out of this. After all, I personally like this book, and I do like Nightmare Before Christmas. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, because it really does help my channel grow. Picking up. The garden is sunk into a shadowless dark. A full, unending kind of dark that seeps into every corner of the fence line, every leaf and stem and bleeding thorn. I wait until I saw the gray bearded man drift out towards the cemetery at the farthest edge of town, before slipping from the house and running along the stone wall to the garden, behind Dr. Finkelstein's observatory, keeping out of sight. Now my leaves churn in my chest as I gather the herbs, knowing that I will need to be quick. I fill a metal pail with ginseng, sage, and bacapa. Okay. I pull up a chunk of morning root and coffee basil, and when my pail is full, I sink in along the outer wall of the garden. In the distance, I can still hear the creature though I can't see him. The town is so quiet, so motionless, that even his faint muttering sounds echo back to me. He is humming a tune, a lullaby, I think, soft and alluring, and I wonder if he senses that there is someone still awake in Halloween Town. Someone he hasn't yet found, and is trying to coax me into the open. I hurry back to the stone path to the house behind his cajoling words can drift into my ear, into my thoughts, making me forget what I need to do, and close the door quietly behind me. In the dim-lit kitchen at the back of our house, where a single stove and tiny lopsided icebox set perhaps against one wall, I begin to brew the herb in a pot of mud water. I listen for the sounds of the bearded figure beyond the wall while I stir and boil the mixture. The kitchen fills with the potent, hearty scent. When the herbs have been steeped all their color, and the brew looks like chalky gray milk, I pour it into a porcelain mug, and carry it up to our bedroom. Okay. Jack is just as I left him, motionless on the bed, and I lift his head with my palm carefully to slowly pour the warm brew into his mouth. and down his throat, not wanting to spill a drop. When the mug is empty, I place my palms against his chest, waiting for him to stir awake, for his black, bottomless eyes to flutter open and peer at me. Please, I whisper so softly I know he won't be able to hear it. Tears stream down my threaded eyelids, falling onto his cheek. Jack, my voice breaks, desperately pleading. I need him to squeeze my hand, to wake up and wipe the tears from my face. I thought I wanted to be alone, but now I see the flaw in it. The gaping, awful wound. To be alone means to feel alone, to stand in a place that should be bustling with noise and hear only the soft exhale of your own shallow breath. I was wrong, and I need Jack to wake up. The old grandfather clock in the hall ticks each second loudly in my ear. It's taking too long. The leaves in my chest fall silent, and the lost needles in my stomach stab at my flesh. The potion I made should have been strong enough to wake the courageous of the dead from the oldest coffin. Creakiest of dead. Okay. Jack should have sat straight up, eyes shot wide when the first drop tricked down his throat. But after another minute passes and the brewed herbs simply turn his pale cheekbones a dull, watery pink, I know it's not going to work. All the hope I had felt inside me feels like has spilled out onto the floor. Now a puddle of pain. He's not going to wake up. I release my hands from his chest and sink back onto my heel, looking to the window, the cold night breeze musing the curtains while dread slithers up and down my patchwork seams. If my potion won't wake Jack, then I can't undo whatever the creature has done to him. And the others, then I am truly, terrifyingly all alone. Outside the house, the humming begins to grow louder. A drowsy tune, childlike, a melody sung to babes before sleep. But this song is not like the ones we sing in Halloween Town about howling ghosts and creepy creeps who lurk under the bed and claw out your eyes while you're asleep. The sound this monster sings is one of soft slumbering clouds and white cotton sheep who gaze like cauliflower meadows and rest under pink starry skies. I slink to the bedroom window, my small shoes hardly making a sound on the floorboard, and peer out, the lullaby echoing over the black stone rooftop, drawing closer like a phantom beneath the pale moonlight. The lump in my throat tightens, and I start to turn back to Jack, when something slips past the window outside, a soot dark shadow awful and deflating, and much too close. Stumbling over my own feet, I scramble behind the curtains, hands pressed to the wall behind me, but I wasn't fast enough. I can see the silhouette of the bearded figure through the curtains hovering just outside the window. Sand spills from his robe pockets, making a soft tick, tick, tick sound on the stone path below, and for the first time, his humming melody is sharpened into words whispered through the darkness. The night is warm and drowsy, and you must be tired. He croons? Step into the open, and I will give you what you desire. I sink down into the floor and cover my ears with my palms. I don't want to hear his words. I don't want to slip into a deadly sleep like Jack and the others. Zero is cowering behind me, or behind the closet door, and I want to run to him, but I'm afraid of being seen. I am not the thing you fear, he whispers now. I am the giver of dreams and riddles and lullabies and moonbeams. I swallow down the terror climbing up my throat like a storm of leaves whipping around inside my chest. I can't stay here by the open window, but before I can stand up and run for the doorway, a great gust of wind tears into the bedroom, and with it comes a cloud of white flakes like sponge sugar sand. It rains across the bedroom floor and falls against my hair. It settles into the cracks of the floor boards and in my throat. I catch desperate myself, and the creature quickly casts its humming. He knows for sure there's someone in the room. He's found me. I have to run now. I push myself, shoes slipping on the fine layer of sand. I almost fall, but scramble to the closet and yank open the door. Inside, Zero is shaking, terrified. We have to go, I hiss at him. His pumpkin nose had dimmed, but he slips free from the closet, and we duck out into the hall, racing down the street towards the front door. I grab the doorknob and yank it open, about to dart out into the twilight, but the creature's shadow slips by overhead. He's circling the house, looking for us. The leaves in my chest claw up into my throat, beating behind my teeth, making everything vibrate in fear. I should slam the door closed, but there's another gust of wind and the door swings wide, crashing against the wall with a loud crack, throwing me and Zero back into the hallway. In an instant, the creature is in the doorway, staring down at me. We peer at one another eye to eye. Sleep, child, your dreams are close, your pillow as soft as a downing rose. His words are slow and playful, as gentle as fingertips across silk. I Pause, legs frozen beneath me as the creature slips across the threshold only a few feet away, humming under his breath. His eyes are settled on mine, but they seem subdued, dulcet, and softless, sinister somehow. Just an old, gray-haired man singing songs to calm the rattled minds. I can rest a while, I think. Sinks onto the floor of the hallway and listen to the ease and loof of each of his linger words, but my bustling mind slows and sleep for only a moment or two, but Zero nudges my palm and growls. I blink, snapping my gaze away. The creature is inside the house, and I've stalled in the hallway like a doll who lost her stuffing. I swallow, shaking away the feeling of his words in my ears, the buttery, calm humming through each stitch and seam, and I turn Zero at my heels, then sprint down the hall. Our only option at the far end of the hallway, I slip into Jack's library. A single window, narrow and rarely opened, sits in the back corner, framed by bookshelves. I don't have a choice. Zero watches anxiously as I shimmy the window open in its frame, then squeeze myself through the opening. I hear the creature moving down the hall, hissing his loitered lullaby, trying to beckon me forth. Yet he doesn't move quickly. In no great hurry, he knows that sooner or later his victims can no longer resist his words, and they sink into a listless, muttered haze. He reaches the doorknob to Jack's library and makes a dissatisfied sound like teeth mashing together, impatient and irritated when he sees me half perched into the window. The drop is far, several stories from atop Skull Hill, where our house is perched high above the ground, but I snuck out of countless windows when I lived in Dr. Finkelstein's lab, so I suck in a breath, then launch myself out of the open window, sailing through the night air until I hit the ground far below with an abrupt smack. It is a good thing you are a ragdoll, Sally. The fall would kill most people, crack apart delicate, porous bones. Luckily, I have no bones to break. Zero flutters through the open window, his ghostly body drifting down to me. The noise then noses me in the cheek. I'm okay, I whisper. My left leg has twisted backwards at the knee, but there is no time to mend it, so I scramble upright, balancing on one good leg above me. The creature hasn't reached the window quite yet, but we need to run before he sees us. before he knows which way we've gone. Limping, I stagger away from the house into the shadows of the alleyway. Zero beside me, and I can still hear the creature banging through the halls, pushing open doors, searching. I circle around the back of the house, leg hinging awkwardly, and hurry up the path through the cemetery, across the bridge, and into the woods, into the dusky cover of darkness, but where only a few paces into the tree, when Zero nips at my elbow, tugging at my fabric. Out of breath, I stop and spin around to look at him. His ghostly dog fur is stroke white against the dark of the forest, and he whimpers at me. "What's wrong?" I whisper. He releases my elbow and turns his watery gaze back the way we came, towards town and our home in the distance. His dog ears snug, nose dimmed, and then I understand. He doesn't want to leave Jack. "We can't go back," I tell him. "That thing will put us both to sleep. Then there will be no one left awake." I think about the sand that blew through the window, how it's already settled in my hair, my throat, and might only be a matter of time until I slip into an unwakeable slumber, unless I brush it out of my skin in time, shed it clean, or perhaps it was only a small dusting, not enough to put me to sleep. Either way, I'm not going to stay and find out. I'm not going to risk it happening again. Zero makes another sad, desperate sound. Eyes cast up the path through the cemetery to where Jack lays asleep on the second floor of our house. I run my hand along Zero's neck, stroking his ghostly fur. "I understand," I say quietly. "He wants to stay with Jack. He wouldn't leave him behind alone, no matter what." He nudges his head onto my cheek, and I lower my hand. "I'll come back," I assure him, although I don't know how. I just know I need to get away from Halloween Town, because before that creature finds me again, I need to get somewhere safe. Zero lifts his ears, makes another small whimpering sound, then floats away back towards the edge of the trees. But before he passes over the bridge, he pauses to look back at me, and I nod, holding down the anxious lump in my throat, the urge to call out to him, not wanting to leave him behind. But he disappears through the shadowed cemetery, out of sight. He is loyal to Jack even now, and although there is an edge of fear inside me leaving him like this, I also know he'll be able to stay hidden from the creature, quiet and ghostly. He'll keep to the shadows at the back of the closet, and some part of me is grateful that he's staying behind with Jack. I wish I could too, but I can hear the creature's lullaby echoing through the streets of the town, sailing on the winds, still searching for me. I need to get away from here. I turn away from Zero and Jack and all of Halloween Town. I hobble deeper into the shadowy woods as fast as my twisted leg will carry me until the town is lost behind me. Until there's only a dark, eerie quiet of the trees and the fluttering of my dead leaves. All right. So things are starting to pick up, which is good. We'll be picking back up later. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. I really appreciate it. We will be picking this back up at a later date. Thank you so much for your time, everybody, and please have a beautiful day. Goodbye.